My child, pause for a moment, because what I want you to recognize today may illuminate the reason you have so often felt that your life does not fit within ordinary patterns. You have passed through many years feeling different, as though everyone else had been given a set of instructions while you were left to find your own way through the mist. You tried to live according to what others expected, to make yourself simpler, less sensitive, and less thoughtful, so that you could fit into places where your heart never truly felt it belonged. Yet, the more you diminished yourself, the more exhausted you became, the more you tried to imitate a path that was never meant for you, the emptier you felt. Today, I want you to understand that this difference is not a flaw that must be concealed. You were not created to become a copy of anyone else. You carry your own way of perceiving, your own depth, and your own calling. So, your journey cannot be measured by the standard the world applies to the majority. I know you have often wondered why things that others easily dismiss touch you so deeply. A cold glance can remain in your thoughts for a long time. One insincere word can immediately make something within you uneasy, even when others consider it insignificant. You often sense tension in a room before anyone speaks. Perceive the sadness behind another person's smile, and hear what has not been expressed within silence. There were times when you regarded this sensitivity as a burden because it caused you to become easily exhausted and made it difficult to find someone who truly understood you. But sensitivity is not the same as weakness. It resembles a finely tuned instrument capable of hearing the faintest sounds. If you do not know how to protect it, noise will wear you down. But when you learn how to use it wisely, that same ability will help you recognize truth, show compassion to those who suffer, and bring light into places that many people pass through without ever noticing. The sense of alienation you once carried does not mean that you have no place in this life. Sometimes it appears because the deepest values within you are incompatible with the insincerity, hostility, or superficiality surrounding you. You long for honest conversations, while many people prefer to exchange only surface-level words. You search for meaning while others pursue recognition. You want to understand the root of a matter rather than accept an easy answer. Therefore, even when standing in a crowd, you may still feel alone. Yet do not rush to conclude that you were born to live in isolation. You have not been placed in the wrong world. You are learning how to find connections that can honor your depth. Not everyone will understand you, but that does not mean no one ever will. Your genuine companions may be fewer, but they will not require you to pretend in order to remain. There are times when you feel as though you are observing life through a pane of glass, watching others move naturally while you remain outside. That experience can cause you to doubt yourself and wonder whether something is wrong with you. I want you to treat the part of yourself carrying that feeling with gentleness. Do not use spiritual language to deny the real difficulties within your mind and emotions. And do not regard seeking support as evidence of insufficient faith. If sadness, anxiety, or isolation continues for a long time and makes daily life difficult, courageously speak with someone trustworthy or seek professional help. Appropriate care may also be a door I use to guide you back into balance. Faith does not require you to endure everything silently. Sometimes courage is not found in continuing to hold yourself together, but in honestly admitting that you are tired and allowing others to carry part of the weight with you. I do not want you to believe that you are superior to the world merely because you feel more deeply than others. Depth was not given so that you could reject those who are different from you, but so that you could understand them with compassion. Wisdom is not a crown for self-exaltation, but a lamp that enables you to serve. If you truly carry a noble calling, it will make you more humble, more patient, and more responsible for what you say and do. You do not need to claim that you belong to some distant realm in order to know that your life possesses meaning. What is sacred can be expressed in the way you listen to a lonely person. Keep your word when no one is checking. Choose kindness when you have the right to retaliate. And stand beside truth, even when it brings no immediate benefit. These ordinary actions are the most enduring evidence of the light living within you. The suffering you have experienced has not always been evidence of a mysterious attack. Some wounds arise from human choices, unhealthy environments, lack of understanding, or circumstances that need to be viewed with clear judgment. I do not want you to live in suspicion that every hardship is a force targeting you, because such a belief will cause fear and weaken your discernment. Observe events through both faith and reason. When a relationship wounds you, consider what boundaries need to be established. When work exhausts you, investigate what can be changed. When a fear repeats itself, search for its origin instead of merely giving it a mystical name. I have given you the ability to reason, learn, and seek help. Use all of these as tools for protecting your peace. Perhaps you still carry an unspoken memory within you, as though you have always known that life holds a purpose greater than what is presently visible. Receive that feeling as an invitation to live more deeply, not as proof that you do not belong here. You are present in this age, among these people, with your current abilities and limitations, because your work is found within real life, not within some distant imagined world. A mission does not necessarily begin with an event that shakes the entire world. It may begin with caring for yourself more faithfully, fulfilling your responsibilities with devotion, using your talents to create value, and bringing compassion into places that have become dry. A seed does not need to know in advance how large a tree it will become. It only needs to take root in the proper soil and remain faithful to the process of growth. Do not regard the years of loneliness as evidence that you were rejected. Often, silence gave you time to recognize your true voice amid too many outside expectations. It helped you distinguish what you genuinely believe from what you merely learned to repeat in order to be accepted. Yet a season of solitude is not a place where you must remain forever. After understanding yourself more clearly, gradually step outward and build relationships marked by respect and presence. Do not test people through silence and then grieve because they failed to guess what you needed. Learn to speak clearly, establish boundaries, and allow mature love to grow through truth. You can preserve your depth while also learning how to live close to others. Difference does not need to become a wall. When guided by humility, it can become a bridge. I also want you to stop describing yourself as too sensitive, too deep, or too different in a condemning tone. There is nothing wrong with needing time to recover after noisy environments, being cautious with new relationships, or requiring longer reflection before making a decision. Respect your own rhythm, but do not turn it into an excuse to avoid every challenge. Maturity will teach you to distinguish wise intuition from fear disguised as intuition. What comes from discernment is usually calm, clear, and non-coercive, while fear tends to pressure, exaggerate, and convince you that danger is everywhere. When you are uncertain, slow down Examine the facts. Seek trustworthy counsel, and allow time to reveal the true nature of what you are facing. Beloved child, your identity does not exist beyond the limits of being human. Yet within you are qualities that can be nurtured into a great source of light. You possess the ability to love deeply, perceive subtle things, and refuse easy compromise with falsehood. These are gifts, but they also require discipline, balance, and humility so that they do not become burdens. Care for your mind. Protect your body. Choose environments that nourish peace. And do not hesitate to ask for help when necessary. You do not need to prove that you are special by separating yourself from the world. You will express your most beautiful difference by being fully present within this world while preserving a pure heart. Now, step away from the question, "Why am I not like them?" and begin asking, "How can I use what I have been given to do something good today?" When you live with that question, every experience that once confused you will gradually find its place. And you will understand that greatness does not lie in escaping this life, but in becoming light exactly where you have been placed. This is a sacred moment, marking the day when the cycles that once weighed upon you begin to lose their power. Because every act of perseverance, every tear, and every time you quietly rose again has been seen. I know there were mornings when you opened your eyes, feeling as though another battle was waiting beyond the door. You moved cautiously, always preparing for another rejection, separation, or unexpected event that might strike again. That wait once shortened your breath and caused every new joy to be immediately extinguished by fear. Old voices continually told you that you would never escape. And that peace was merely a brief pause before the next pain. But today, I stand before you to declare that those lies are no longer permitted to name your future. What happened may leave memories, but it no longer possesses the authority to continue writing your story. Nothing you endured has been forgotten or rendered meaningless. The days when you continued walking without receiving encouragement formed a quiet strength within you. The nights when you wiped away your own tears and then rose the following morning to care for others deepened your compassion. Even when you believed you were merely trying to survive, I saw someone learning not to let bitterness take possession of the heart. You were not always strong in the way you wished to be, but you still chose not to surrender completely. There were times when you fell, reacted from wounds, or doubted every good thing. Yet, even then, a part of you continued turning toward the light. I honor that quiet faithfulness, because true courage does not always sound like a trumpet of victory. Sometimes courage is simply waking up, leaving the bed, and deciding to try for one more day. I also know that the burden you carried did not begin only with your personal experiences. Certain patterns existed within your family for many years. Silence replacing conversation, fear replacing trust, control replacing love, and wounds being concealed before passing from one person to another. Some who came before you learned to survive by making themselves small. Some never learned how to apologize, express affection, or leave what was harmful. Then you were placed within that current, as someone who began to realize that what was familiar was not necessarily right. This is why your journey sometimes felt heavier than you expected. You were not merely healing one memory, you were learning a new way of living, dismantling old reactions, and building a different foundation for those who would come after you. Long-standing cycles always resist transformation. but they are not stronger than the sincere decision of someone who refuses to continue passing pain forward. You were chosen to become the stopping point for these patterns, not because you are perfect, but because you have begun to see. When you choose to apologize instead of defending your pride, a cycle is interrupted. When you establish a boundary without nourishing hatred, an old door closes. When you choose conversation instead of punishing silence and seek help instead of concealing everything, you open a new road for your family. Ending a pattern does not always occur in one dramatic moment. It often unfolds through hundreds of small decisions in which you refuse to respond as you were once treated. Each time, you reclaim part of your freedom. Every time you dare to live differently, what once appeared to be destiny begins to reveal itself as merely an old habit waiting to be changed. Therefore, you do not need to keep looking behind you to see whether the past is chasing you. Relationships that taught you to believe you were unworthy of love possess no authority to define your value. The loss that caused you to believe every good thing would eventually depart is not a prophecy for the rest of your life. The betrayal that caused you to distrust everyone cannot force your heart to remain closed forever. Those experiences tried to place names upon you: abandoned, defeated, always behind, never good enough. But I call you by another name. You are someone who survived without completely losing gentleness. You are someone who can begin again with greater wisdom. You are someone permitted to enter peace without apologizing because you no longer live in chaos. I am closing the entrances through which old pain once returned to rule you. This does not mean every memory will immediately disappear, or that you will never experience another sad day. Healing is not pretending that the past never happened. It means that although the past is remembered, it no longer governs the way you see yourself or choose your future. A scent, a place, or a sentence may still unsettle you for a moment, but this time, you will know how to return to peace. You will no longer interpret one moment of weakness as proof that you have returned to the beginning. You are learning how to remain beside yourself with compassion and allow emotions to pass without giving them the authority to decide. This is the sign of freedom, not that you no longer feel anything, but that you are no longer carried away by every feeling. Do not return to places that know only the wounded version of you, and ask them to acknowledge that you have changed. Some people can see you only through old memories because your growth forces them to confront what they are still avoiding. You do not need to make yourself smaller so that they may feel comfortable. I am not in the room where they abandoned you, nor am I calling you back into the season that caused you to lose your voice. I am ahead of you, where relationships are built upon respect, and where you do not need continually to prove that you deserve to remain. Move toward those who can love you without controlling you. Listen without ridicule, and correct mistakes with you without using the past as a weapon. New peace may initially feel unfamiliar because you have become accustomed to confusing chaos with closeness. But do not return to what wounded you merely because stability feels unfamiliar. The sun will rise again in your life through ways that are ordinary yet precious. Laughter will return, not as something forced, but naturally, when your heart no longer needs to stand guard every second. You will be able to receive something good without immediately fearing that it will be taken away. You will learn to hope without accusing yourself of being naive, to trust while maintaining discernment, and to love without abandoning boundaries. Small joys that were once hidden by anxiety will become alive again. A peaceful meal, a conversation that requires no defense, a night of deep sleep, or a plan that fills you with excitement about tomorrow. These are not insignificant things. They are evidence that life within you is being restored, and that you are no longer existing merely to avoid pain, but are learning to be fully present within what is good. Beloved child, receive this not as a passing slogan, but as an invitation to live differently from this day forward. Do not merely declare that the cycle has ended. Demonstrate it through choices that no longer serve fear. When you want to return to a relationship only because you feel lonely, remember how far you have come. When the old voice tells you to remain silent, practice expressing your needs calmly. When you feel responsible for everyone else's emotions, put down what never belonged to you. Every such decision becomes a seal upon your healing, confirming that yesterday no longer rules you. I do not call you broken, forgotten, or deprived of opportunity. I call you someone who is being restored, equipped, and freed to move forward. The past has taught you, but it does not own you. Peace must no longer be a passing visitor. From this day forward, build a home for it within your life. I am leading you into a new season in which what was once closed will gradually open. What was once unclear will be illuminated, and what was delayed will begin to move according to the proper time. Listen with a calm heart, because what I desire to place within you today concerns not only what has happened, but also how you prepare for what is approaching. Certain doors you tried to force open would not move, because at that time, you did not yet possess enough maturity to enter without losing peace. Some opportunities passed through your life without remaining, not because you were unworthy, but because your inner foundation still needed strengthening. Now, after months of learning to release, discern, and stand firmly, you are becoming someone capable of receiving what is new with hands that know how to preserve it and a heart that is no longer easily drawn away from direction. People who once failed to recognize your value may begin to see you differently. But do not make that your goal. I am not lifting you so that you may prove they were wrong. I am lifting you so that you may live faithfully with what has been placed within you. When you stop seeking approval, your presence will naturally gain substance. Others will come not because you try to attract them, but because the peace, wisdom, and sincerity within you create a place where they feel strengthened. Opportunities are similar. They do not always appear through one dramatic event. Sometimes they come through an ordinary meeting, a modest invitation, an idea arising in stillness, or a new responsibility that once frightened you. What matters is not how glorious the opportunity appears, but whether it aligns with the character, purpose, and peace I am building within you. I am also bringing new relationships closer. People who not only need what you can offer, but also know how to support you throughout the journey. You became accustomed to relationships in which you had continually to explain yourself, yield excessively, or become exhausted merely to keep everything from falling apart. Certain people entered your life as lessons, but not everyone was called to travel with you until the end. As the new season opens, you will recognize the difference between those who approach only for personal benefit and those who genuinely respect the light within you. Healthy relationships do not require you to diminish yourself, nor do they nourish dependence. They create truth, responsibility, kindness, and the ability to mature together. Therefore, do not cling to what has been completed merely because you fear empty space. That space may be exactly where the right people are meant to enter. Your purpose will also gradually become clearer. Not because every question will immediately receive an answer, but because you are no longer being pulled in too many directions. In the past, you tried to do everything, satisfy everyone, and carry responsibilities that never belonged to you. That scattering made it difficult for you to recognize what mattered most. Now I am teaching you how to focus. You will begin recognizing the work that makes you feel alive, the problems you cannot ignore, and the abilities that continually return even after you have repeatedly neglected them. These are signs of the portion entrusted to you. As you remain faithful with what is small, the larger direction will gradually emerge. You do not need to know your entire future before taking the first step. Clarity often comes while you are acting, not while you remain still, waiting for everything to be completely explained. The sacred capacities within you will also become more sensitive as you learn to live quietly and honestly. You will recognize the difference between the voice of fear and a healthy warning, between an impulsive emotion and a prompting worthy of attention. Yet do not turn every physical sensation or emotional movement into an absolute sign. Genuine guidance does not remove your ability to reason. It makes you clearer, calmer, and more responsible. Something arising from wisdom may challenge you, but it will not force you to act in panic. It will invite you to verify, observe the results, and consider the matter through peace. I want you to mature in discernment so that you neither pursue every glamorous promise nor overlook simple guidance merely because it does not appear extraordinary. Your peace will also become more stable, not because life will cease changing, but because you will no longer allow every change to determine your inner condition. Difficult days may still come, words may still wound you, and plans may not unfold according to your wishes. Yet you will no longer collapse as before whenever something unexpected occurs. You have learned that one closed door does not mean the entire road has been destroyed. One rejection cannot define your value. A period of delay is not evidence that you have been forgotten. When peace takes root, you will be able to view circumstances without exaggerating them, make decisions without being pressured by fear, and continue forward without needing everyone to agree with you. The grace upon your life will be recognized not only through outward accomplishments, but through the person you are becoming. Others may notice changes in the way you speak, respond, and face difficulties. You will no longer need to raise your voice to prove strength, because calmness has become authority. You will no longer need to recount everything you have endured in order to be understood, because the maturity within you will tell that story by itself. What was done in secret may gradually produce results others can see. But remember that public recognition is not the most important part. What is more precious is that you have been built deeply enough not to become proud because of praise or fall because of criticism. Certain shifts will come so quickly that they surprise you. But do not confuse suddenness with randomness. What appears in one moment may have been prepared through many years. An unexpected invitation may be the result of a skill you quietly developed. A healthy relationship may arrive after you learned how to establish boundaries. A financial opportunity may emerge when you have learned to manage small things faithfully. Therefore, when something new comes, do not rejoice only because the door has opened. Remember the responsibility accompanying it. Enter with awareness. Examine every agreement. Preserve honesty. And do not quickly sacrifice health or peace merely to keep something I never asked you stubbornly to protect. You were never forgotten during the years when nothing seemed to change. I placed you in the proper position even through the things you considered failures. A place where you were rejected may have freed you from a path that was too narrow. A person who departed may have forced you to learn how to stand without dependence. A plan that collapsed may have helped you discover a more suitable direction. Looking back, you will recognize that many times I did not remove something good from you. I merely prevented you from attaching yourself to what could not carry you where you needed to go. Therefore, stop telling the story that your life has been delayed. See it as a process of arrangement in which every lesson prepared you to receive without losing yourself. If these words awaken something within you, respond with a sincere declaration. But do not believe that written words can replace a life of obedience. You may say, "I am ready for what is being revealed." And then allow that declaration to enter your concrete choices. Organize what has become chaotic. Complete the responsibilities you delayed. Apologize when an apology is needed. Leave what continually weakens you. And begin the work you know must be started. Readiness is not merely an intense feeling within one moment. It is faithfulness after that feeling has become quiet. Do not search for confirmation only through warmth or temporary sensations. Look for it in transformed habits, clearer decisions, and the healthy results you begin to create. If you find this message helpful, you may share it to strengthen another person. But do not turn a button or a comment into the measure of faith. I do not love you more because you respond publicly. Nor do I withdraw from you if you choose to preserve this moment in silence. What matters is whether these words lead you to live with greater truth, kindness, and courage. Likewise, when you desire to support good work, do so voluntarily and with understanding. Not because you fear losing a blessing or believe that giving can purchase favor. Generosity is beautiful only when it is born from freedom, practiced within your means, and directed toward a transparent purpose. A small gift offered in peace has greater value than a sacrifice that harms you or is accompanied by pressure. My child, this is not a promise that everything will immediately become easy, nor a guarantee that you will never again face difficulty. It is a reminder that you are no longer the person who entered the former season. You have learned, suffered, matured, and begun to see yourself through different eyes. Carry that transformation into every day. Do not run ahead of the proper time because of impatience, but do not retreat because of fear. Walk steadily, preserve humility, and allow peace to guide you. What needs to be revealed will be revealed in stages, at the time when you possess enough strength to receive it. What needs to depart will gradually lose its authority. What truly belongs to you will not require you to betray good values in order to obtain it. The former season may have been completed, but new life does not begin merely through a declaration. It begins every morning when you choose to live as someone who has awakened, is being healed, and no longer hides from the noble purpose seeking expression through your life.